So Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu arda, who was a curious man, and he was a man who wanted to find truth. He says, I'm going to go to Mecca myself to figure this out. So he enters into Mecca al-Mukarramah as related to us in the narrations of Imam Muslim radiallahu anhu arda. Now, Abu Dharr, knowing what he heard from his brother, that people were making these comments about the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, he was very specific as to who he was going to ask about the Prophet. He wanted to find him, but he knew that people were already against him. So he said, I looked for a weak man, some man that if I asked him a question and he got angry at me, I could respond to and overtake. He said, so I asked this man, where is this person that is claiming that he's a messenger of God, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? And that man that he asked starts screaming at the top of his lungs, this person converted to Islam. We have a Muslim here. And Sayyidina Abu Dharr says that all of the people around him, jama'u alayya, they combined together their forces and they started to beat me. You can imagine, this is Sayyidina Abu Dharr. He's going in there to find guidance. He's going into Makkah al-Mukarramah where the Kaaba is to meet Sayyidina Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And the first thing that he's dealt with is a beating. A gang of men beat him to the extent that Abu Dharr says, my whole body was bloodied. And I went to the water of Zamzam, Ma'u Zamzam, and I washed myself off. Now, if that was many of us, a reaction would probably to be run out of Mecca. I'm not coming back. This is a hostile environment. This is a difficult environment. Khalas, I tried and I'm accepted and everything's okay, but that's not who Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu wa arda was. He wasn't going to allow any bumps in the road, even if it brought him physical pain, from keeping him from the Messenger of God, Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. Nothing was going to stop him from connecting to the nur of Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. So he tells an interesting story. He said, I spent 30 nights staying in Mecca al-Mukarramah, hiding from everyone, not eating anything, only drinking from the water of Zamzam at night until I drank so much of it every single day that I started to put on weight. And I felt no hunger. The barakah of the water of Zamzam. And Sayyidina Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu wa arda, subhanAllah, as you're hearing this story, you get an idea of his personality radiallahu anhu wa arda. He says, at night, when everyone went to their home to sleep, and I knew that the coast was clear, I would come out because I was hoping that maybe the Messenger of God sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi would come out and make tawaf. So I used to go to the Kaaba and hide behind the curtain of the Kaaba. La ilaha illa Rabbi ya Sayyidina Abu Dharr. So he would be plastered up against the Kaaba, hidden behind the curtain, until one fateful day comes, after being there for 30 nights, not letting anything deter him. Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi comes with Sayyidina Abu Bakr in the middle of the night. He starts to make his tawaf, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, and you can imagine this. Imagine Arabia at that time. There was no clock tower. There was no big hotels. There was no anything. There was just the center of the Kaaba, the quietness, the hudu, and Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi with the Siddiq, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, making tawaf, and he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi starts his salah, Allahu Akbar. Oh, yeah, Sayyidina Abu Dharr, how lucky you were to just see the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi praying. How lucky you were, ya Sayyidina Abu Dharr, just to be in the presence of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And he says, I waited until the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi finished his prayer, and I recognized that he was Muhammad ibn Abdullah alayhi salam. So I went to him and I said to him, Assalamu alaykum, peace be upon you. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi replied, Wa alaykum assalam. And Sayyidina Abu Dharr, he later on, he says, I was the first person to use the greeting of peace in Islam. And so, Assalamu alaikum came from Sayyidina Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu wa ardah's interaction with seeing Sayyidina Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And the Prophet asked him, who are you? And Abu Dharr told him his story. He told him how he came. He told him about his background. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi asked him, what have you been eating for these past 30 days? And he says, I've only been drinking from the water of Zamzam. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, he said that Zamzam at that time, he says to Sayyidina Abu Dharr, is in itself a food. That you can suffice yourself just with the Zamzam and the water of Zamzam. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi tells us in another hadith about the barakah, the great blessings of the water of Zamzam, ma'u Zamzam lima shuribala. That the water of Zamzam is for whatever intention you drink it. So the great men of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they used to go to Mecca al-Mukarramah, they used to drink Zamzam. They used to fill themselves with Zamzam, and they used to repeat this, Ma'u Zamzam lima shuribala, the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi in dua, that the water of Zamzam, your Prophet said, Ya Allah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, that the water of Zamzam is for whatever we drink it for. So I drink it with this intention. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give them. And wallahi, 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 I've done this myself by Allah's rahmah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me through His generosity and through the truthfulness of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, anything that I asked for through the water of Zamzam. And so he tells the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, I only drank Zamzam. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, subhanAllah, he takes his blessed hand and he puts it on the forehead of Sayyidina Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu wa arda. Imagine being touched by the hand of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. What an honor Sayyidina Abu Dharr had. And that honor didn't come easy. Remember, he entered Mecca al-Mukarramah looking to meet Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, and the first thing he's greeted with is a physical beatdown. And after that physical beatdown, he doesn't leave. He stays for 30 nights, hiding around the Kaaba, only drinking from the water of Zamzam, hoping to meet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi.